Okay. All right. Hi, everybody. My name is Erica Thiel, and I am 4-H Program Specialist at the University of Idaho. Also joining me this evening, in my left-hand corner, we have Shay Saralakis. Her primary responsibility with 4-H is fund development. We will be kind of working through some of the talking points that we had for tonight pertaining the thank you notes and kind of that process. And we're doing this as a segue to get your input and to make this, we've been in this process of tweaking and refining thank you notes probably since I've been hired, but we're getting there. So, it's true to our mantra, making the best better. Also joining us, we also have Shanna Coder. She's a 4-H program specialist as well on campus. And then our newly appointed regional specialist, Donna Gillespie. And as she carries forward with her position assignments, she will definitely have more of a new role within Know Your Government Conference. But kind of what we wanted to do with this meeting is to discuss thank you notes. We have some ideas, Shay and myself, as kind of some different things that we can do. Part of it would include a component that we had done last year with a larger framed piece that we give to our larger conference sponsors, but also thinking about how we do our thank you components for our, what I would consider county and or district sponsors. And I have a feeling that with some of our ideas and also getting your input, I think we're going to really be able to say, you know what, that's a great plan, and we can kind of carry forward with that. So I'm going to do a share screen. So one of the things with utilizing this technology, we can start this conversation earlier and keep this going until we get to conference. So that's definitely one of the things that I would like to see with this. This meeting is being recorded. This will be shared. So the ideas that we're sharing, nothing set in concrete, but we're kind of wanting to get your input as far as, are we on the right track, or are we completely missing the boat on, what we need to cover, or if there's something we haven't considered. So part of the plan, if you will, at this point, is to utilize Zoom between now and when we get to February. And then what would happen during this time is kind of just making sure we're all on the same page, looking at, what is that larger thank you piece going to look like? We do want to have a little bit different look for, recognizing our donors for this year, and then also talking about how we're going to handle that thank you note component. So we would start these preliminary conversations, but when we get to the point of conference time, if you will, I'm going to share my screen here. We would actually then do lunch with Shay on Sunday afternoon, and then when we're at this point, we would actually be going over, okay, whatever our main talking points are going to be. And a big component of this is to do a training, if you will, on writing thank you notes. And so we will provide you the components and the tools as far as what would need to be addressed, and Shay will elaborate on that here in a little bit, but also kind of giving you guys the opportunity to do some peer-to-peer teaching. Shay will have a talking component to this, don't get me wrong, but the lion's share of, and this is not going to be a huge piece. Granted, when we're thinking about doing this, falls right in line when you guys are doing your district interviews. So this would be a very early, short, lead-in piece, but the lion's share of the teaching, if you will, not only for the youth in that room, but also for the chaperones, is going to come from you guys. So I think this is going to be really a great opportunity for you guys to put on your teaching caps, if you will, but it's going to make more impact having that message coming from you guys versus if I was to stand up there and say blah, blah, blah. It's just, that doesn't work. So I think we have a fairly good strategy here with doing that. So we will be discussing here in a second. Shay will give you kind of the more of the meat and potatoes of what we're talking about here, but we would do preliminary conversations via Zoom. we would come into Sunday, do lunch with Shay. At this point, like I said, we would be kind of just going over the last minute components, last minute details on how the evening would go. And in recognizing and realizing there's a lot going on at this night meetings for you guys, you know, speaking from a district level, with doing your interviews and getting through that in a timely fashion, so you guys aren't missing out on the entertainment components for that night. So, but there is an opportunity where we can capture that business, get that done. And the main person, Shay, would be rotating around during that point in time, so everybody's getting a consistent message from her. And what we're thinking about doing during this time is the framed pieces, those would be X amount of number for each district. At that point in time, the districts would sign those pieces, and then there would also be that teaching component I touched on a little earlier as far as the guidelines for, you know, the gratitude component. And so that would be going over, okay, so what am I going to do once I get back to my county as far as writing thank you notes? And that's where that local, if you will, the county and or district thank you note component comes in. Those donations do not come to Shay. Those do not blip on my radar. So that makes it very difficult as far as tracking those addresses and who those people are or who those businesses are. However, if that county coordinator was to say, okay, we got $250 within the county office from X legislator who you've probably met at your breakfast, or at least that's my hope, you will have made that connection with that person Monday morning. Also, those delegates will have made that connection, or maybe they're local, they know the business that contributed to you guys being able to attend the conference. So the coordinator will have those addresses, coordinator can have those envelopes, but it's going to take you guys imparting what needs to be in that message and how to frame that to make that successful as a follow-up activity to the Know Your Government Conference. Know Your follow-up activities are supposed to be happening anyways, so it makes it a little bit more easier to manage, but it may also make sure that it's done and there's a quality component to that. So I am going to stop sharing. Did I miss anything with that intro there, Shay?
Nope.
Okay, I'm going to turn the table over to Shay.
Perfect. So I think first things first is our goal is to have you as district planning representatives play an active role in conveying the importance of thanking the people that help make the conference happen. And ideally, this will happen through about a 5 to 10 minute demonstration that you'll work together on teams on. And I'm happy to help arm you with all the tools you need to have to be successful. And I'll show you what we have put together right now. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. So what you're seeing right now is a guideline for how to write a thank you note. And in advance of KYG, I can pull together a prefabricated demonstration, so to speak, the high notes that you'll need to hit during your talk at all the districts.
That's not sharing on mine.
Oh, it isn't? That's really odd. How does it?
Yeah, now it is.
Okay, cool. Okay, so this is just a basic how to write a thank you note. And this would be one of the tools you'll have as you go into those district meetings. And there will be some objectives you need to hit as you talk with each of the districts about how to write a thank you note. Now we have some time to tweak this. This is just a starting point. You know, ideally, if every district had brought thank you notes, that could actually be your final activity. But given we're not sure how that's going to work out, we want you to talk about the importance of thanking people and how to do that, and give every attendee to Know Your Government the tools to go home and do that with their follow-up activity. So we would love your feedback, but I will start working on giving certain tools so you can do this as groups at Know Your Government. Now the second piece, separate from the thank you note workshop demonstration, is this larger thank you that we give to our major sponsors. So every year we approach between 20 and 30 different organizations to be sponsors for Know Your Government. a lot of people do sponsor at different levels, and we want to recognize their donation. And instead of we had feedback a couple years ago that getting 20 thank you notes from a variety of 4-H members was really nice, but it wasn't necessarily, it was very time consuming. So this was a way we could thank them and also help spread 4-H love across the state. So the legislators that donated to 4-H would have a piece that they could hang in their office. So what you're seeing on your screen right here is what was printed last year for Know Your Government. And some of you may have remembered signing this piece, and it was nicely framed. And then they were given at the breakfast the next morning. So this would be the secondary part of your workshop, is having these pieces signed by each of the districts. So if you have any input on what you'd like to see this next year, we would welcome that input. But this is what we've done last year, and we're looking to get your feedback to make it even better this next year. Okay, so I think that's everything I had on my end. Donna, Erica, Shanna, do you have anything else to add? I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing this.
No. So what I'd like to do is, if I can have by the end of this week, if at all possible, or the beginning of next week, Monday is Labor Day, so everybody should be out of school. If you guys could review this, get us your ideas, whether it's, whether you want to video it, you can, or type it on out. But if we could get your input on a fairly quick turnaround, then the next step would be, we'll collect all that, and then I'd probably send out another doodle poll as far as what day and time works good for you guys, and we'd like to do another Zoom meeting and kind of talk about that. And what the doodle poll does is that just allows us to kind of find a day and time that works for everybody. I do recognize probably this week wasn't the greatest, given school's just starting. You guys are still trying to flesh out not only school schedules, but practice schedules and all the good stuff. Or for some folks, you're not even in school yet. So, but definitely take that time. Let us know what your thoughts are, concerns, questions, ideas, and then we can kind of move that forward. But that's all I have for tonight.
Cool.
So awesome. Well, I'm going to start recording. Thank you, everybody.